All right, I got it. It's
Welcome back, guys. Hey, guys. Welcome back.
to my podcast.
I got it. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Hey, guys. Welcome back to our podcast. This is The Milkman. We're your guys' host. I'm Steven.
Beto.
I'm ready.
Welcome back to episode number 2. We are now, we have survived the first video, and we're now on the second one. Want to appreciate you guys for coming back. If you guys have came back now to this channel, we also want to say that we are coming up with more and more spicier things because I feel like the first video was more of like a background of us and our upbringing, but now we can get into the real details and real
meat and potatoes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And if you guys have any interesting questions or topics, feel free to drop them in the comments below.
Hey, but
We'll take a peek at those.
nothing that's gonna get us in trouble, dude.
I know.
Yeah, we got toxicas. Nothing that gets us in trouble.
over there.
Nothing too crazy.
My toxica's not here, but y'all will get in trouble.
Yeah. So I wanted to start off this podcast and ask you guys, because speaking of toxicas, well, I mean, there's toxicos too, right? But
Right, yeah.
speaking of
Yeah,
toxicas, I wanted to ask, what is the most toxic thing that has either happened to you or that you have done? Starting off, I don't know. So I would say the most toxic thing I've done, I don't know if this is going to come back to me.
Godspeed, bro.
I don't know if this comes back to you or not. But I would say, so at some point I had saved passwords, but based off of the fact that I saw them be put in. And when I went into I actually logged this person out of their stuff and ended up going through all their things, which is how I found out a lot of things. But, I've never been that type. I don't think any of us have ever been the type to go that deep. But
yeah.
a gut feeling's a gut feeling.
Well, that's
Yeah,
the thing,
yeah.
right? One gut feeling, right? And trust your instincts, right? Typically, you're not going to have that unless you have, a reasoning to do it. And we don't usually go through people's stuff unless they give you a reason to, right? Now, I'm not justifying it. I don't think it's morally correct. I've done it before, and you don't find nothing, you feel guilty about doing it. Because then you're kind of saying, oh, is my partner not, am I going crazy? That's crazy. But if you have reasoning, you go through it.
And then you find something. Dude. It is the most gut-wrenching, stomach, heart
Yeah.
drops. Yeah.
That's tough.
I would say the most toxic thing I've had done to me, personally, is, I'm sure we all have many, but I would probably say this person had the ability to control me and accuse me of things to where they would go finding it, try to find something when truthfully there was nothing on it. Not only that, but to go to the point where you literally have to look through all my stuff and to feel that kind of you're in trouble, you're getting investigated when you're truthfully not doing anything. I don't know that. And then not only that, but the showing up randomly, all these things, bro, it's not
Healthy, huh?
It's not healthy.
It's not healthy, but then it's if you think you're in a good standing on your relationship and you're being questioned, it almost makes you think you already questioned me, why don't I just do it and give you a reason to do it, But no, we're not gonna I'm not that type of person, but it's man, it sucks. You think your relationship's good and whatnot, and then they are questioning you, asking you where your whereabouts, who you're texting, this and that. The other thing with that is that person projecting? Are they doing something and trying to see if you're doing something so that way they feel less guilty? Right? And I've experienced that in the past. I have. But yeah, dude, when you're in a healthy relationship, you think everything is rainbows and bunnies and stuff, and then now you're getting questioned out of nowhere. You're damn,
There's something more.
No, I get it.
There's something more for sure.
I think, too, something that I think of over the years, I learned how to, if I hear a bullshit statement, I just disregard it. You know what I mean? I'm not even going to give it the...
How many years you got hearing bullshit statements?
Quite a few. But it's I'm not even going to, pay that any mind. You know what? If you say something stupid, you know what? I'm just going to disregard it. I'm not even going to, go... I'm not even going to go there,
I feel unless there's facts and they have hardcore proof, hey, I caught you texting so-and-so, or my friend has proof of you at this spot, It's just all accusations, bro.
I know.
And it's annoying because without
And
actual
even if it's true,
concrete,
you're still gonna deny it. So it's not even worth it.
R.I.P. bro. R.I.P.
Yeah.
but I feel like those are probably my. I've had this person show up, go through everything that of mine where I felt like I was violated, and at the end of the day, it wasn't even me that was doing anything. Who was it?
Yeah.
That was that person.
Well, that's a mental thing.
Yeah, it's like a mental warfare.
Yeah, like
That's why you
they're
have to
like,
be
oh.
mentally strong, and
Yeah.
you can't always give in to little shit like that. That's what I'm saying. You have to pick and choose what you want to like entertain and what you don't. Just completely disregard that.
So what about you, bro?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. The most toxic thing I've ever done.
There's too
I don't
many.
know. Since I'm the provider of my household, and my girl's always had one of my credit cards. Like one of the toxic things I did when I got pissed off, I knew she was like with her family. I just turned off the credit card. So I left her broke. But the most toxic thing that's ever happened to me, that's kind of like that I can actually share, should I say, is I remember one time I was like a freshman or sophomore in college, and my buddy's like, "Yo, let's go out," right? And I already knew me and my girl were arguing. She was like, "Why are you gonna go out? Whatever." So I told my boy, "Just come scoop me up," you know. So he's like, so my girl's like, "Oh, whatever, you know, I'm gonna hide your keys, whatever." I'm like, "Do whatever the hell you want. I don't care." So my boy comes, he picks me up, and my girl sees him, and we take off. You know, tell me why we come to the first light. All of a sudden, I see my girl pull up behind us in her car. I was like, no way. So I told my boy, I was like, yo, you got to take off, like, lose her. So we're fucking, like, mobbing through the streets, taking red lights, and she starts taking the red lights. I'm like, bro, I was so embarrassed. I was like, bro, just take me back home. It's fine. Don't do this another time. I was
No
embarrassed,
way.
bro. That shit was
Was it? You just
embarrassing.
called it a night there?
Yeah, I was just embarrassed. 'Cause I'm like, you know what happens if we go to the club, we get down, she comes and makes a scene, you know what I mean? Like, it's not even worth it at that point. Like, I'm going to save myself the embarrassment, you know what I mean? But that was hilarious, I thought.
Did she
How
keep
about
your
you?
Did she keep your car keys? Afterward, did she keep your car keys afterwards?
Yeah.
Like I see, I don't think I
I
forgot.
know, I got castigado.
The most toxic thing I've done was I was 17, right, and I was dating this girl that was 5 years older than me. So what was she, 22, something like that?
Yeah.
This is when I was working at Calvin Klein, like we were talking about in the last
Oh
one.
yeah.
And this girl was much older than me. I mean, at the time, I'm digging. I'm like, yeah, I got supposed to be the
Yeah, I
baddest
got an
girl.
older one.
I got an
Yeah.
older one, the baddest one in Calvin Klein, and this and that. And the relationship was toxic from the start. 'Cause when I first met her, I was still dating my technically high school sweetheart. Whatever. Time passes by. I'm still at Calvin Klein. Me and her started talking little by little, and eventually we ended up dating. The whole projecting thing, right? So then I would be playing video games, and she'd be over. Like she'd come over, I'd be playing video games or whatever, and I'd have my whole headset on and everything. And then in the corner of my eye, I could see her grabbing my phone.
Looking through it and shit.
Wait, she grabbed it like quietly, like she like pulled it right next from like where my lap was at. She like pulled it back, and I could see it, right? And I'm like, all right. And while I still have my headphones on, I mute my mic. I'm like, you know the password to it. And I mute it and keep talking. And the reason why is I had nothing to hide. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't doing anything. I was like, you want to go through it, go through it. You ain't gonna find nothing. I'm like, and if you do, like, no problem.
Do you think, because I always thought about this, like, do you think that women sometimes want to find something, and the reason why I say want to is because they want to say, like, oh, my guy that I'm talking to has other options, so it makes it feel like they have to fight for you? Because let's say you're a good guy, right, and you're not doing anything, and do you think that kind of on the other side of it, kind of like, oh, this guy's kind of boring?
I don't know if it's because they want to see if like they got to fight for your man. I think if anything, it's the opposite. They're ready to fuck you up and ditch you, right? But what it comes down to is like, I think they just want to be secure that nothing else is going on.
Yeah.
I mean that's all girl stuff, right? Heartbreak and this and that. But she started going through my phone. I'm sitting there playing video games. She finds nothing, right? And then what ends up happening is she does this frequently, right? She starts asking me, where are you? What time are you getting off of work? She called my coworkers and was like, hey, I need Raymond's work schedule. I need to know what time he clocks out. Yeah. And then it was just small things like that, right? At the time, I never noticed it. But it wasn't until the end of the relationship I was like, damn, like,
That's pretty crazy.
she's been controlling me, this and that. So here's where I became the most toxic I've ever done, right? So it's towards the end of my time at Calvin Klein. She's not working at like another store. She called me like at 8 o'clock saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go with my sister to go get tacos with her boyfriend." Right? I was like, "Cool. I'll just get home safely. Let me know when you get home." Again, I don't recall what I was doing, but I was like, "Let me know when you get home." So, 3 hours go by, nothing. Right? So I call her sister. Up, and I'm like, "Hey, is so and so still with you?" Like, she said, "You guys gotta go get tacos." She's like, "She left work at 8 o'clock. I'm just with my boyfriend. We never went to go get tacos together." So her sister sold her out. And I had a hunch.
You would think the sister would have been like, yeah, she's with me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but she had a hunch. So I had a hunch. The minute I heard that already with everything she was doing, like someone else told me, like, "You don't think she's doing something?" So then I start heading to her. So I pack all her stuff, start going to her house. All right, I'm just going to drop her bag off. And I'm about to drop her bag off, and her car's not there. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. And so I'm sitting there thinking, like, I could just drop off the bag, but she's manipulated me so much. And I was young. I had no experience, so she manipulated me. Anytime she did do something like that, she'd be like, "Oh, let's," she tried to use intimacy to like make it up. So then I'm like, I remember her saying that this one guy that I had like a hunch on, lives over in this neighborhood. So I start driving up and down every street, trying to find it, thinking that, where's her car at, right? And sure enough, dude, like once I was about to give up, I was about to go home, like, you know what, forget it, right? Something told me to turn back around. I turn back around, I go into the last neighborhood, go down the street, and I look at her car, and I see it there. And I'm like, your heart drops, you're kind of like, damn, like this is the reality of it. And I'm like, no, it's not her car. So I leave. And then I come back. I'm like, no, it is her car, right? So I'm fighting myself. And then I'm like, the only way to prove this is like, I'm going to get out. I got out, went to look inside the vehicle. Sure enough, like her jacket, her key, like her jacket, her like water bottle, everything I knew was in there. So I stepped back. I took a photo of the car. I took a photo of the house. I took a photo of the street. Because I knew she was trying to lie to me about it. So then, sure enough, I go home, I leave her stuff by the door, and she calls me like at 10 a.m. She's like, "Hey, I'm so sorry, I fell asleep last night once I got home. Forgot to call you, this and that." I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Okay, I'll be over. I'm going to bring lunch over. I'll be over in half an hour." I was like, "All right, cool, see you in a bit." So when she got there, dude, like, she tried to walk in, and I walked out, so I kind of pushed her back a little bit. And I handed her duffel bag, and she's like, "What?" She's like, what? And I'm like, "You want to tell me?" Like, I'm giving you an opportunity to tell me what happened. And she made this whole story up, like, to the detail.
I remember I remember hearing some of it, and she's like, "Oh, well, he was sick, and I had to take care of him, and that he didn't have anyone else to help him."
And
this
so
and
then
I remember that.
Yeah, I told him I'm like, "How was it?" I was never asking her like, "How were the tacos last night?" She's like, "Yeah, they're good." I'm like, "What'd you order?" All right, and then she already knew about. And then I showed her photos of her. I showed her a photo of her car outside the house. She's like, and I knew she would say, "That's not mine." All right, and then I took a photo of her plate in front of the car, in front of the house. So I'm like, "There's no way you're gonna tell me it's not you." So that was it. Come to find out, 6 years later, I get a book of a message like this big. It just apologizing for everything.
They always come back.
Yeah, I know. 5 years later, though. 5 years later.
5 years later.
5 years later, and then she sent me a book this big, apologizing about stuff.
I would have been worried. I'm like, she gonna try to take her life or something. She's saying,
and we were in Honduras when I got that text, so I was like, all right, whatever. I was drunk. I was like reading it, but then I read it in the morning, and she apologized about everything. And then like 3 years later, then she asked me if I could like be her sperm donor.
What do you mean?
She was asking me if I could like be her sperm donor. She was like, "I'll get the hotel, I'll get the room. All we gotta do is hook up and just don't pull out." I was like, "Absolutely not, absolutely not, not after the torment you put me through."
That's crazy. Nah, you don't want to bring a kid. Right?
That's crazy. Like that. But then you think about it, she went out for tacos, right?
Yeah.
That late at night without like really any proof of it. Does that come down to you wanna I know this is a controversial thing, but do you feel like as a man you have to be kind of controlling to kind of control that kind of stuff? Or do you feel like being controlling is better for the relationship because you can kind of have a better, not that you're trying to keep in prison in the house, right? But I feel like with too much freedom, they start saying, how much can I get away with? Make sense?
I think it's not controlling. You
It's
gotta
not
start setting
controlling.
boundaries.
Yeah, it's just boundaries
well,
on like and a level of respect.
Yeah,
right?
it's boundaries for sure. But in the end, if someone wants to do something, they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
They're gonna do it no
They're
matter
gonna do
what.
it. Yeah,
That's
they're
what
gonna
I
do it. And so
learned,
it's like, but like, don't get me wrong. Like, you could kind of try to like set boundaries as far as like, hey, like, you know what? Like, I know that group of friends because we all know there's a group of girlfriends that are just girls night out, right? But
Yeah, and
there's
they're a bunch of hoes.
Yeah,
They're a bunch
Yeah.
of hoes.
they're not like.
They belong to the street.
There you go. They're street
Yeah.
girls, right? I mean, don't
They're
get me
street
wrong. Before
walkers.
they come after us, there are street men too, right? That
Oh,
they go
for
out there
sure,
and do
yeah.
that
But you don't
But-
want your partner in that
in that group.
right?
And-
So like
and-
if you're with a partner and all her friends are just hey, let's go for a girls' night, get drunk and whatever else, they're kind of like put in an environment where it's like, does your girl respect you enough to not fall into that peer pressure of, you know what, fuck it.
Well, there's that
You know?
video on. You guys seen that video where the man was talking about you can't tell. Oops. You can't tell the difference between lions, right? Which one is the lion that's not gonna bite you, and what's the rest of the lions? And so what happens, right? Is like he's like, when you're out with your girls and stuff, how do we know the difference between what lion's gonna bite us or not? You guys all just look like a
same.
group of lions.
Yeah.
So that's what happens when they hang out with them. It's like, yeah, you might not do anything, but if your girls are acting up, that's going to give permission for the rest of the men that they're acting up with to try to get at for you, right? It's kind of like we would go out and like, you know, one of us are flirting with one of the girls and you guys are hanging out with us and they got a group of girls, they're going to bring the girls over, right? And it's like, what enables it is the friends. So it's
Right,
like,
and so I feel
we
like-
don't, like, in reality, like, when we go out as guys, we might go get something to eat. Maybe we'll go do something fun. We'll go shoot guns. We'll go do
We'll
something.
go get a couple of drinks,
Yeah.
whatever the case is.
But it's never in the aspect of like,
And
is
maybe
this
it's
gonna
just-
come back?
But I think it might be also just a different level of age groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember when we were young and 21, 22 years old, we were down every weekend. Down. Go home at 7 in the morning when the sun's rising. Down. But now we're like that. But I think this whole thing comes back to the same thing of, not that men I feel like are being super controlling, but we are also men that were in that position at one point. Does that make sense? So when you see a group of girls at a club or something,
Yeah.
you're gonna assume they're there and they're single majority of the time. So you're there to what? Especially being here in Vegas. When
Well,
you
that's,
come, when
and
you
that's
go
the
out.
environment. That's
Yes.
just what the environment is.
Yeah.
That's the environment.
You know.
So like typically like especially I just worked last night, right? Typically what you see at a club is bachelorette parties or bachelor parties
Yeah.
or a ton of single people. It's very rare to see someone that's married or in a relationship, and how do you know that they are? Unless you see a ring or you ask them. You're in that environment. So
It's all go.
Yeah.
It's all go until you know.
Until you're told, hey, no, I'm
Yeah.
taken.
And
And,
that's if
even
they-
sometimes
they won't even say that.
Yeah, sometimes they won't say that, or sometimes men are like, all right, that's cool. Just because there's a goalie doesn't mean I can't score,
Yeah.
right?
And it's interesting too because I think it's different for women and men because as a girl you can go out, you'll get on hit on 100 times, you know what I mean? So you're gonna think there's gonna be that one guy who can fucking steal your girl, which you know that's possible. And as a man, you might go out and maybe get a hit on once or twice if you're lucky.
If
Maybe
that.
no one even really fucking.
If that, even
no
if
one's
they
gonna bug
notice you.
So if you just look at it from a
Yeah.
peer ratio, you know, women have like getting hit on 100 times as a guy you're hitting on maybe once or twice. It's easier to say no twice than it is 100 times, you know.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like it will happen in front of your face too. Like I went to a Dodger game with my girl. Bro, tell me why. Like we were just walking to the bathroom. I would catch dudes looking at her, but I don't care. Like I know, like I have like my girl's pretty and everything. I get it. But there were like she was waiting for me outside the bathroom, and there's a dude hitting on her while I'm walking up. And then the other time we were at Target, I'm sitting there. I'm sitting there playing with our puppy in the cart. And tell me why I start hearing this dude trying to talk to her, and she's trying to like walk away. And the next thing I see her is like speed walking up the aisle to get away. But it's naturally it just happens. Like it doesn't matter whether you're in the club or whether you're wherever. It doesn't matter. So it's kind of like you said, girls have more opportunities for it. So it's kind of one of those things where you try to lay the boundaries the best that you can, because it's not that you don't want to. It's not that you're trying to control your girl, but you as a man know. What
We
the
know how
game
men
is.
are.
We know how men
We
are.
are men. We know how men are. Because at one point, you're right. We were all like that. And we're
Yeah.
all like that, young and fresh, and like testosterone through the roof, and this and that, and you're like, let's see what I could get.
Another thing too, you gotta think about is like being in a relationship a little bit. You don't probably always tell your girl every morning, "Oh, you're beautiful," or give her flowers every day. You know what I mean? So the one time they see that stranger at Target and he's like, "Oh, you're beautiful," they're gonna feel like, oh, look at this guy, he's always complimenting. But I always tell my girl, like, don't forget, like, I would say anything just to get in your pants. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't mean he's gonna be telling you that shit every fucking day. But you know, he'll tell you what he needs to tell you in order to kind of get what he
it really
wants.
is
You know what I mean?
to
So
get
don't
into
mix up, don't mix it up and think like, oh, this
Right.
person is different than what I have at home. No, it's not like that. You know what I mean? So that's unique too.
Yeah.
What was the question you had for us?
With all this being said, right, girls at
Yeah.
the clubs and this and that, there's something that men have that's so unique. Why do you think men don't have a lot of drama, right? How often do you hear men or friends fighting? We don't. We typically don't.
We don't ever.
We might, the biggest argument we might have is either in Call of Duty because someone messed up or where we're going to go eat, right? I think the biggest reason on why these are the only two fights is because we have something called bro code. And some girls don't understand this, right? So I know what my definition is of bro code, but what is your guys' definition of bro code?
I think when it comes to bro code is like, it's kind of like a common sense thing, but you have a different level of respect towards your boys, where it's like, I've never felt the urge to be like, hey, I'm gonna go hit on my boy's girl, because it's already kind of just there, like the same way how me and you growing up, if you liked a girl, I mean we do have different tastes in girls, but if you had a girl that you liked, I'm not gonna be like, hey yo, like I'm also gonna try to get at that. There's a level of respect of like, that's you. That's you. That's it, right? And then not only that, but why am I trying to argue with my brother or my friend? What do I get out of that? You know, like, but I think with bro code, there's a already kind of standard that we follow and respect, where it's like, you will always look out for them, and whether it's something to do with the relationship or whatever the case is, but it's nice to know that you have that bond with them. But then you also have the level of respect where you don't have to worry. Like, I don't have to worry about Bethel trying to get at my girl or you trying to get at my girl. Like, it's so nice to know that we're girls. I've seen it where they'll go fuck their best friend's man.
Yeah, you hear about that all the time.
You hear about that all the
Which is
time.
pretty crazy, yeah.
Or they'll be messaging their best friend, whatever the case is, and girls are like ruthless. Girls are way worse than men.
Well, yeah, because in order for a woman to cheat, typically they need to be emotionally connected because girls don't give it up just to give it up unless they really need to, right?
Yeah.
But most of the time, in order for a girl to cheat or go do something else, they usually have to become emotionally connected to the person that they're doing it with, right? Now, the whole bro code thing, right? You're right. There's a level of respect. There's a level of foundation that we have, right? No matter, like, if we don't see each other for a while, if we don't hang out, if we don't talk for a minute, either way, like, I still got your back in all aspects, right? Like, let's just say you got caught up for something. Hypothetically, you went on your own, you did it, or either one of you guys went to go do it on your own, and you guys got caught up for something. Even if I have the faint bit of, you know what, maybe he did it, you're not getting an answer out of me.
I'm legally blind.
Exactly.
I'm legally blind.
You're
I'm
not
legally
getting
deaf.
I signed an NDA with my boys. You're not getting anything from me. And that's the thing is, like, it's not nothing against the girls, but my loyalty lies with you guys, right? And you know, girls might see this as one-sided, but like, hey, you know what? If he really did something, he did it, but I'm not saying nothing about it. You're not getting that out of me.
And it's not. And I also look at it like it's not my business, bro.
Yeah.
You get caught.
If you get caught,
You get caught, bro. I'm not gonna help her dig your grave.
Yeah, I know.
But you get caught,
But I'm
bro.
also not going to be a witness.
An accomplice.
Yeah, an
accomplice.
You're not gonna be an accomplice to it.
No.
You know, it's just one of those things where I think that's another thing of bro code. You're not gonna be like, hey. I've had friends in the past where I'm like, bro, you get caught, and I've been with this person or friends, they've gotten caught on the spot, and I'm still like, I look straight. I'm like the horse with the mask on. I look straight. I see nothing. I hear nothing, and we move on with life.
we instantly become Helen Keller.
Yeah.
Instantly. But I mean, at the end of the day, we're all men, right? If we decide to make those mistakes, or we decide to make those choices, we're willing to own up to them and take responsibility for them. So why am I going to drag anybody else down with me?
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah, because you're not gonna. If you get caught going to the strip club with your boys, but you're the only one that got caught.
Yeah.
You're
Or
not
you're
gonna
the
be
one
like-
that didn't have permission. You lie to her saying, "Oh, I'm going to go to bed," or whatever. And you get caught. That's on you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be like, hey, all right, well, so and so was here, and imagine their girls didn't even know either.
yeah,
You know, but I guess it's kind of like we're bro code until you get caught. Once you get caught,
you're on your own.
I'm not gonna snitch you out, but you're on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, after that,
That's
you
true.
know.
No, I think so. The way I look at it is like it is a level of respect, but then it's also like just minding your own business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where at the end of the day, we're all adults, and whatever you choose to do on your personal time, like, you know, that's you.
Mhm.
And whether someone asks me or not, like, I don't know, it's not my business. And like you said, if you get caught and hey, that was you slipping, you know what I mean? Like, but I'm not gonna add any extra fucking salsa to the fucking taco or whatever. But yeah, I think it's important to have that loyalty. But a question that kind of just came up to me right now, what I was thinking is like, you talked about like not hitting on your boys, girls, or whatever. But what happens if you have a boy who breaks that boy code? Because like, let's say for example, if your girl cheats on you with the random, that's one thing, right?
Yeah.
But what happens if she cheats on you with one of your boys?
That's
How do you
tough.
take that?
That's
because
tough
that's
because
like that's a higher level of disrespect.
it's a
Like,
higher
it's
level
like
of betrayal because you think that this dude's not gonna. I expect that all my boys are not gonna do anything. Like I have that in the back of my head off the rip. I shouldn't like. All right, my guys are good. Like I trust my guys enough that I don't think they'll ever reach out to my girl or try to do something, right? But I think with your boy betraying you, it's like a different level of respect because not only do you lose one person, but then you lose a friend
You're
as
losing
well.
two, yeah.
You're losing 2 in 1. It's almost like getting caught cheating. You're losing you're losing your side piece and your girl. But
Oh, hey,
That was
like I
kinda
said,
irrelevant,
hey, you know
bro.
what?
Well, I just like-
I'll go ahead and make you guys funeral arrangements. Let me know where you want to be buried, how you want to
so
be buried.
Yeah.
like, I think with that, like your boy, and it brings a different type of anger out because it's like, dude, you're gonna cross me like that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, not only like would I be hurt, but like I think I would be like,
Like infuriated.
yeah, infuriated and almost like want to like do something physically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like, yo, you're my boy. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's tough. How,
I
what do you
mean,
think?
So it's immediately cut off, right? That's the
Yeah.
way I see it. I'm like, we're done. This
Right.
is done. Because the other part of it is too, right? There are things that, and this applies to everybody, but there are things that everybody will take to the grave. There are things that we know that my brother and only him and I know that you don't know that we're gonna take to the grave. There's things that we don't know about you that you're gonna take to the grave
Between
yourself.
you and your brother.
And,
you know?
right. And so what it comes down to is that, like, the amount of trust and safe space or whatever you want to call it between us, right? Because if we're going through something, girls gossip, man. They blow each other up
They yap.
on group chats.
One yaps,
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
yaps, and then the other one yaps.
Yeah.
And then they don't ever stop yapping.
It's like, wolves howling, like one starts howling and then they all
fuck.
right. But here's the thing: is that when men are actually going through something, it takes a lot for us to be like, hey, could we sit down and talk? Because that happened to me one time. I had to go to you guys about something. I was like, dang, I've never been through this. Like, this is the first time I ever got put in this position. Like, what do I do? And the thing about it is that vulnerability, I guess if you want to call it, like that's only between us. And for us to go to each other about like, hey, this is what I'm going through, takes a lot. So then for you to go do that to me afterwards or something, knowing the secrets that you know about me and this and that, like, yeah, dude, you're
Because
cut
then
off.
you're exposed.
Yeah.
Because now that your guys' friendship failed, everything that dude knows about you, he can just air you out.
Mhm.
He can air you out to either your now ex, or to your other boys, and be like, so and so did A, B, C, whatever the case is, and now it becomes too messy, right? Like it just becomes too messy because it's like it just that will never be repaired, and then whatever it's gonna be he said thing, and it's just too messy. So I don't know. I feel like at certain points, like that's why you also have to be a little careful about who are your friends.
Mhm.
Right? But you never know. You can never tell if your boy's ever going to do you dirty or not.
It's because it's like one of those situations. It's like practicing for a fight and then actually being a fight. Those are two different circumstances. It's like when you have your boys, like you automatically just assume that you give them that benefit of the doubt, but you don't really know until the situation occurs. Like, oh, is my boy actually gonna have my back?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you like, it's like one of those things where you figure it out at the moment.
Because if
whether
we're
or
at a
not-
bar, bro, and someone wants to get down, I'm getting down. I don't care who I'm swinging
sure.
at. I'm just swinging. But we all have each other's like that because you expect that from them. You expect that from them, But I don't know, man, like that.
yeah,
That's tough.
And then that kind of leads me to my question is like, we talked about, you know, us having each other's back. Like, what do you do if you go out and you see your boys girl with someone? Do you extend her that same level of respect where it's her business?
It's like this, you know? And I'm zooming in.
He's zooming in.
And I am zooming in. And it's recording
I
from.
don't know. I think I'd just go straight up like this. I'd probably go straight to you and be like,
On FaceTime
yo,
and shit?
no, I'm gonna go straight to your face and be like, I just need to make sure I got the right angle and make sure when I send this to him, it's full blown. I don't know if I'd go that far. I'd probably still like.
Probably walk by just like a drive.
I'd probably walk
a drive-by video.
Just
But you know, like I don't know. I don't know if we would. I don't know if I would go up to them. I think I'd probably FaceTime. I'd probably FaceTime. you
I'd
guys.
get footage. I think the reason why is because like footage is concrete. Right?
Yeah.
That's
And
true.
it's like how you gonna deny it?
You
Right?
can't do,
It's
video
like,
don't lie.
yeah, video doesn't lie.
Video
right?
doesn't lie.
And I get absolutely. If I'm sitting here and I see them over there, I'm telling you, dude, I'd be like this so fast. Just zoom in as hard as I possibly can, record a little bit, and I'd send it to you. I ain't saying nothing. That's
What
my
if you don't
girlfriend.
have time to get proof? Like it was too quick. Like you think you're still telling?
I'm giving out descriptions. I'm
Yeah,
giving.
but I'm just saying,
giving
like-
black shirt, blue jeans, white sandals, French tip. I'm giving everything. So that way when she gets home, and you see her, it's the same description.
Yeah.
You know, what location? What? Yeah, you know, whatever the case is. But that's the thing is that like that's a part of that bro code loyalty, right? I'm snitching so fast. Like I'm getting a written statement. I'm doing everything possible. Because here's the thing, like in the end, like I don't need you hurting and slumped over and this and that and down bad or whatever. Because let me tell you, when girls catch somebody else, girls send another
yeah,
girl
for
that hey
sure.
girly pop message. It will say hey girly or hey girly pop or something.
That's
They're
like
fast
that's
to do
every
it.
girl's worst.
They'll do
nightmare.
it as they're seeing the person. They'll do it right there and then a quick photo and that's it, right?
Yeah.
But like, and that's their method and that's cool, right? But yeah, I'm telling immediately, right? You know, and again,
And then what do you do in those situations? I've had friends before. Like what? Two of my boys will go up and tell them like, "Yo, we saw this," and they're so in love. You're like, "Nah, bro, I just don't believe it."
And they start denying it.
that's
said-
why you need video proof because it's like they won't unless there's proof of the accusation, they won't believe it. So that's why you need footage, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's happened once to a friend of mine where I saw them out at I went on a date with some girl and then I saw his girl out and I recognized her. She didn't see me right away. And so as we're walking out the restaurant, I told the girl we're dating, hey, let's just walk this way. Immediately, once I walk in front, she sees, connects eyes with me, and her eyes got so big. At that point, I knew, hey,
That she was doing something wrong.
right, but then she knew, shit, someone saw me and knows him. Sure enough, bro, he sends me a message later on saying like, hey, I just broke up with my girl.
Damn.
Right? And I didn't have to say nothing. But the problem is nowadays, people won't admit to accusations unless they have proof. Unless there's
yeah.
some kind of proof to
Or
it.
not only that, sometimes when you really like someone, you have like, you're kind of blinded, you know.
Yeah,
So you're like, no, I don't believe that person would do this to me. I need to see. it, You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
And it's
So
tough
pretty
because
crazy.
you know when those people don't believe that their girl's doing some shit, and it takes like, and you're like, dude, like, how can you just sit in that, you know? And you feel bad for them, but sometimes people have to learn the hard way. Like until like they decide that they're finally done. I've seen that, you know. But like, I don't know. That's kind of tough. I would for sure probably some type of proof,
Mm-hmm.
video proof, picture proof, whatever, and relay that because it's like I'm not gonna have my boy looking stupid.
That's true. That's
You know,
another
like
thing,
I'm
too.
not gonna have my boy looking dumb. Like I'd rather be the one to break it to you and be like, "Yo, I saw your girl out here doing this and that. I thought she was with you." Like the one time that your girl came through my neighborhood, it was her truck,
Yeah.
right? And I call you and I'm like, "Yo, what
I'm
are you
in
doing? What are you
California."
doing in my neighborhood?" And you're like, "I'm in California." So then I called Crystal. I was like, "Yo, what are you doing here?" I checked her for him. And then, but I mean, she was just picking up the babysitter, right? But like, it's part of us having each other's back, you know? Because I'm like, hey, and I told her I was like, hey, you got eyes everywhere, dude.
And
Yeah,
it's
eyes
not even
everywhere.
it's not that we're being chismosos, but it's just like, hey, you know what? Like,
If my boy's out of town, I'm gonna protect him.
you're not gonna do our boy dirty, is what we're
Yeah.
saying, right? And
That's true.
Dude, so I saw that you went to go play ball the other day, right?
Basketball, yeah.
Dude, this dude calls me. He's like, hey, I'm in the hospital, bro.
I broke my.
I broke my leg, and then he just goes on to tell me like, oh, how many games did you play?
I played 2 games, bro. Well, I haven't played like in a year and a half since the last time we went with you guys, and So we won the first game where I was playing on a little Asian league, so they're just running nonstop back
Dude,
and
it's
forth.
just-
Back and
they're
forth. And I go to the
fast,
gym.
they're
I go to
quick.
the gym, so I work out. I'm not like out of shape or anything, or not. Well, I guess after that.
Now,
I
now that
I
you
am,
found
but-
out, huh?
But by the second game, bro, I was fucking gassed. Like fuck, like I wanted to go, and the guy's like, "Oh, after we went we take a break and we jump back on, so you have 15 minutes to rest." I'm like, damn. So I was like, as soon as that third game started, I called my girl, I'm like, "Hey, come scoop me."
Because you don't realize how bad out of shape you are until you're doing.
And it's just a
something.
different type of cardio too.
Yeah,
It is because it's
And
nonstop.
I literally woke up the next day, my whole body, my back was hurting,
Everything
my
was
arms were
sore,
hurting,
huh?
everything was fucking sore. So I was like, damn.
And like speaking of that, like you know how like the Olympics are going on. And I don't know if you guys seen the video or not. Did you guys see the video of the Australian breakdancer?
Oh yeah,
Dude, that's and like so
I
supposedly.
didn't even know that was part of the Olympics, bro.
Neither did
I
I
didn't know
didn't know breakdancing was part of the Olympics.
Yeah.
Like that's and then so she was going up against I think like UK breakdancers,
Yeah.
US breakdancers, and these guys like the UK and the US guys are like typically
Spinning on their
like
heads.
your what you think breakdancing is, and I feel bad because this girl like, so her trainer I believe or I don't know if it's just a trainer or not, but she's like oh like you know like, she is the top breakdancer in the entire country of Australia, but like. I don't know.
She got her coach on Timu.
And she's like, and then you see these videos on TikTok of her breakdancing, and they start putting like these background sounds, like the Peter Griffin, dun, 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 dun. You know, like those stuff like that. And I'm like, how do you get, like, how can you try out for Olympics? Because obviously you have to be selected to go. Like, look at Simone Biles, right? One of the probably the GOAT of gymnastics. Like, that's reasonable to get in. LeBron James and the rest of his team to get in. You have proved something to get into these games. So when you look at breakdancing, and everybody else is, like, spinning on their heads, she's over here doing some, like, horse kicks. And I don't want to talk about her because, dude, they're, like, you go on the
They're
comments,
roasting her.
they're roasting her
Well, that's
so
the thing is like you
bad.
got to ask yourself, is that really a sport? Because if you think about it, basketball you have a point system, so you're able to tell a clear winner.
Like, how do you win
running? It's the
breakdancing?
fastest time, right? Breakdancing is subjective. Like it's just your opinion, what you think is good, what's not. So
Because it's all based off of crowd.
does it take
what,
skill?
yeah.
Does it take athleticism? Yeah, but is it a sport? Probably not. I would say it's not a sport.
You think you can breakdance? Do
That's what I'm saying. It's not
Do
a
you think? I'm
sport.
saying. Do you think you got
It's a
it?
skill.
in
I
you?
couldn't fucking do it,
You
but
spin on your head.
yeah, and you need athleticism. But it's like I don't know. Can you really like grade someone who does something?
And I'm
better?
sure like dancing has, like dancing's all forms, right? So everything comes into it, but I think within dancing you have to find what fits best for you, right? Because we're not gonna go out there and go start square dancing. I don't know how to square dance.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go to the Olympics and win gold in square dance. You get me? Like there has to be
Do
so
the zapateada.
kill the cockroaches. But I think it's kind of fucked up because she hasn't responded to anything of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she did like I think 3 different routines, but
I don't know. It's interesting though because it's like that's the thing with social media. Like these people are leaving comments, doing memes or whatever you want to call it, and technically in your world, in your reality, they don't exist. These are just random people saying these things
behind the screen.
behind the screen, right? So you would assume that it doesn't hurt or like whatever. She should be able to carry on with their day, but sometimes the idea or the perception of an idea that people have on you can actually bring you down, even though they're like. Technically they're not real to her, you know. They don't. She doesn't really know these people making these comments,
Right.
but it still hurts to some level because it's like it's creating this false image
And
of
it
her.
sucks, bro, because I've seen the videos and they've put so many different things out of different like sounds in the background, bro.
Right, and she might actually be a breakdancer, right?
But it might be
But-
Australia's breakdancing.
Exactly, that might be their version of it. Because I think about it, right? They're gonna dance differently in Europe than they're gonna dance differently in Latin America. There's different types of dances. So maybe, right? She is the best out of Australia, but that's Australia's version of dance, right? And think about it, right? Like the U.S. is pretty good in soccer, but you can put them against teams like Argentina and this and that. They're a lot better. They're a lot more developed. It might be something new that happened over there.
Yeah, they just started
Yeah,
last year.
but I mean, yeah,
I saw
no,
a comment that says I could have been an Olympian. Someone commented that, and then someone said they added breakdance into the Olympics. You got 5 minutes. 5 minutes to rehearse, bro. But you know, like the comments are crazy. Like I know in your videos, right? Like your gambling stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, I've seen some of the comments.
They're hilarious. I was honestly telling Steven, I'm like, man, I want to do a reaction video. Like, sometimes I'll just be sitting there, I see got a new comment, and I read it, and I'm like, I just got roasted.
But I mean, everybody's a keyboard warrior, bro. Like, people don't actually know what it's like unless they put in that situation, right? So we could all sit there and say, like, oh, you should have done it like this, or oh, you should have done it like that, or oh, you don't know what you're doing. But it's like, how do we know what each person is thinking or going through, or what experience each person has for someone else to say something?
And it's like one of those things too. It's like the people watching the video are watching the whole video, so they're like, oh, obviously the next hand you got a blackjack, you should have pushed your bet or whatever, right? But at the moment, you don't know you're gonna get that next hand. You know, it's almost like the altercation that you had the other day. There, it's like, oh, well, if I was there, I would have done this, I would have done that. But bro, I wasn't there, so obviously, me looking back at that situation, I'm like, oh wow, it's easy to do X, Y, and Z. But it's not until you're actually there where you're kind of put on the spot, and who knows what you're gonna do. You really don't know how you're gonna react until you're in that situation.
Yeah, dude, during that thing, like, it just goes back to training. Like
your situation.
My situation, yeah. So like, long story short, doing overtime at a club. Guy wants to act up, start touching the girls in the club inappropriately. Goes to do coke in the bathroom, and then he comes out. We kick him out. He comes back. Tries to get back in the club, and then I go approach him like, hey, you gotta go. Like, call it a night. Like, nobody's pressing charges for anything, not for the coke, not for inappropriately touching girls. Just call it a night. And did I think I was gonna get in a fight? No. Right? I thought this dude was gonna listen, because he listened the first time.
You're honestly giving him like a get out of jail free pass.
Yeah,
like,
I'm like, hey, go. Leave. Like, the amount of crimes he committed, like, go, just have a good night. But still, right? And then when he reached out, touched my badge, and then he touched my partner, we shoved him, and it's like, cool, we thought maybe that was gonna be like the end of it. No, dude. The next thing I know, we're gonna fight. We're on the ground, and I got a rug burn on my elbows, on my knees, and everything. Like,
you're sore.
I'm sore, dude. I'm so sore, and that's when I realized like how out of shape I am. And when we're in the fight for like 5 or 6 minutes on the ground. You don't realize how long 5 or 6 minutes is.
No, it's like times 10.
Until you're on the ground with somebody.
1 minute of fighting is tough.
And you're trying to control them. So my partner wasn't as large as I am, and so we're sitting there like, I'm riding this dude like a horse, right? Trying to grab his arms, trying to pin him on the ground, trying to do anything, right? But he is, of course, doing the drugs in the bathroom. So I'm looking at his eyes are dilated, just staring at me. And he starts laughing. You know how scary it is when you're fighting somebody and you start laughing like a demonic laugh? Bro, I was like, dude, like, and I'm on top of it, and I'm realizing, like, all right, everything I'm doing is not working, because you don't know what you're gonna do in a fight. It's not like you have it planned out, like in your head. I'm gonna grab the arm, I'm gonna go to the ground, and then swiftly I'm gonna rotate his wrist. Like, it doesn't work like that, right? And so finally, like, I get one cuff on, and I'm still struggling, and we're trying to hold him down. I'm on the radio, like, I'm in a fight. We need units down to this area. Dude, it's 6 minutes it took him to get to us. And at one point, I'm on top of him, and I just have my hand on his chest, pinning down his chest, like on his shoulder blade, and my other partner has his other.
Yeah, word that correctly.
Yeah, no.
Word that correctly.
No. So I have my hand right here on like the shoulder part, and my partner literally is just on top of the other arm. So his arm is loose, but I have him pinned. Like, you're not going anywhere. But at this point, I'm gassed out. I've already tried to roll him on his stomach twice, and he's not doing it. And he swung at me 3 times, right? I'm sitting there thinking, like, what else am I going to do right now? Right? You're training this and that. Now, let's just say what's going to happen is other people are going to watch the body cam footage afterwards and be like, well, I would have done this. I would have done that. Why do you do this? Why do you do that? When you're in the moment right there and you're trying to control somebody, you're trying to get them to comply, they're not doing it.
Or it's just the heat of the moment.
It's the heat of the moment, right? So then finally, like, I'm on top of him. I got a knee across his, like, waistband, like, right across the stomach. I got my arm in his chest, on his, like, upper chest, like, right here in the corner. I finally take a breath. I'm like, all right. Nothing worked from the moment we pushed him against the wall and everything else. Finally, we get him on his stomach. Other units help arrive, because when someone does this and locks their arms underneath them, it's so hard to get it out. Yeah. Right? And especially if you've been in this fight for a minute and they do this, they just got to lay like this on the floor face down.
Because they're using their own weight.
They're using their own weight, and then you're strongest here. Because out here, you don't have that much strength. But right
people
here,
online are like, bro, you should have just tickled him.
Yeah, people are going to go in the comments and, like, if that
you could have just tickled him, his arms would have
if that ever gets posted, like, well, you should have done this, you should have done that. And it's like, all right, well, you get in a long, drawn-out fight, and you tell me what you're going to do.
And you have to be out of condition. Like, you can't be your peak performance.
You got to be like this right here, right? Like, out of condition, which is my fault. I should be more conditioned. I should be more in shape. Fight a dude that's high on drugs, drunk, and you didn't plan for this fight, right? Now you're on carpet, and the problem with carpet is that we kept on sliding around.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you have a grip like concrete or anything else. Like every time he'd push out, and then my knees would slide to the side or whatever. And like, again though, you don't know what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen? Let's just say if that video ever gets posted for whatever reason, something goes wrong, they're like, oh, you should have done this. You should have done this. The keyboard warriors are gonna go crazy.
I saw some of
Yeah.
Beto's comments, and I'm like, damn, bro, they're coming for him. But
Yeah.
Beto's been winning. Like his strategy and his 30-day challenge, it's been going good, right? So it's like, I got told Beto because Beto had mentioned it. Like, damn, they're coming at me in the comments. I'm like, majority of the time when people come after you, is because they envy something that they're not doing. They envy you for something that they're not doing. So like when I started posting up like the truck stuff, I would get like the old heads and like the super truckers in there, like, oh, this and that. But I'm like, if you're so pressed over the videos that I make, you commenting under my stuff is only helping me. And I love reading comments like that. Like I would answer back. I wouldn't say nothing crazy. I'd answer back. But some of Beto's comments, I'm like, they told him to go pick up ping pong.
Go back to work at Best Buy and shit. That shit's hilarious. And I think just something I learned over life is like, if you take this as a practice, like anytime you have an interaction with someone, if you think about it and you're mindful of it, like, hey, I'm gonna try to make every interaction I have positive, more positive, you attract more positivity in your life. So a lot of times I might see something and the first thought that comes to my head is never really negative. I always try to like, even if I do, I subconsciously catch it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try to turn this to a positive because I only want positivity around me and I
Right.
only want to spread positivity, so that's all I receive.
Right.
Sometimes people get so caught up in the negativity and even if that's giving other people negative comments, you don't realize you start to attract that to your life.
do.
You don't want that, you
Yeah.
know? So what does it hurt just to be positive?
So imagine like you felt that way. Like imagine how celebrities feel.
like that girl you said with the Olympics, you know what I mean? Like imagine
Like,
how she feels right now.
Yeah.
She
Because
probably like
she probably thought
like
she was
one day ago,
killing it out there.
one day, hey, a
Well, I
couple
mean,
of days
she
ago,
might
she
have
thought
been.
she was the best in the world.
But I mean, you know what? Like
It just made it
it could
popular.
make her quit the sport. You
Yeah.
know, like it just. In the end, I guess it's like we're all good at something. So everybody's good at
Just
something.
find out what you're good at.
right.
Or
That's
she
the
can
moral of the
thrive.
story.
She can thrive, turn it around, and create another dance movie. What was that one dance movie we used to watch back in the day? You know what I'm talking about? The breakdancing one?
The what?
Oh, Stomp the Yard?
Yes,
No, it's not
yeah.
the Yard. It was
Was it
Step
Stomp the Yard?
up, step up, or
Step,
Step
up,
Up,
Stomp the
yeah.
Yard. So look at, she can flip that negativity and make step up forward.
But
And sell out, bro.
I have a question for you, bro. We never got the conclusion on this.
Oh
and I've
my
always
God.
thought about
What
this
are you
for a
gonna
long
ask me, bro?
time. So you went from your new hobby right now is gambling, but in a healthy way.
Yeah.
In a healthy way because you're doing a challenge and you're trying to get something out of
Sure.
it. It's a question, bro. A while ago, you used to do card trading.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever. So you went to bring like a super crazy nice card to a store, and you had to go get it graded. Whatever happened to that? The last thing I remember is that they never sent it out, and then it's something supposedly that I think they lost it, and then they found it again.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that? Because it can't. I think you were just too embarrassed to say what happened at the end of it.
No. So what happened was that I ended up pulling a really rare card. It was like 101. It was a black. It was a rookie autograph 101, and I submitted it to PSA. So PSA does the card grading, and that card was perfect. You know, I looked at all the edges, everything was good. And when I got it back, it got rated an 8 out of 10, which is kind of low. You know?
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be like a 9 or even a 10 because it was perfect. So like I kind of got like
Discouraged.
because I'm like, fuck, you know, because it's an 8, it's worth a lot less than if it was a 9 or a 10.
Yeah.
So
How much did
kinda
you pay
just
for
held
it?
I went in order to get it. It took me a couple thousand, and then when I went to go get it graded, like I pretty much broke even. So then I'm
Really?
like, you know what, I'm done with.
So
this
what
card
happened?
thing.
What happened when you went to go turn it in at the? That's what happened. You went to go turn it in at the shop.
At
But
PSA,
wasn't
no,
the
you have
shop-
to submit it in the mail. To
But what
PSA.
happened to the shop? Supposedly you went to a shop. It was like a grading shop here or something like that, and they were taking like weeks to get it graded.
Oh, that's right. And I went to go pick it up. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna submit it myself. So who knows? Maybe those guys could have got pissed off or got mad that I had a 101 that bent the corner or something. You know what I mean? Because it was out of my hands for a little bit. But
Because it was
I've
like
always been like that. Like I like to I get bored quickly. So you know, whether it's buying a gun, gambling, buying cars, like I like to try different things just to see what kind of gives me that little adrenaline rush.
I remember I always wanted to know what happened too, because you were so sad. You were like mad and sad that they were taking so long with that card, and you're like, what if they sold it? What if they sold it and they never talked to me again?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I still got it right there.
You still have it?
I still have it. I have a LaMelo Ball too. I have a LaMelo Ball, 1 of 15, rookie auto. That was
Damn, I didn't know you still
10.
had that stuff. I thought you sold.
I'm just gonna sit on them. It's weird because it's like the stock market. So let's say LaMelo Ball, he's kind of been hurt, but let's say he just falls off, that card can go to $0, or he can be the next superstar, and that card be worth a lot. You know what I mean? So
That's true.
it's
That's
random. But I kind of got out of it. It's too volatile. That market's too volatile.
You think so?
Yeah.
But alrighty, so I think we can wrap this one up. I want to say thank you guys for tuning in again for another episode. I think this one was a little bit more spicier with a little
With
bit
some
of
of the topics. Yeah, you got to keep in mind, like, we're willing to talk about anything, but at the end of the day, we're all in relationships, so it's like, you know what I mean? We can't
we gotta be a little
can't get
careful.
ourselves in trouble, but
We'll see if we survive to the next episode.
yeah, we'll see.
If we're down 1 or 2, then it's one of us by ourselves. You guys know what happened.
It's 2 empty seats and 1 person. But I want to thank you guys for joining us again. This was a good one. This was a solid one. If you
Yeah.
guys have any
Drop
questions,
some comments. Yeah, drop some comments below.
If you guys have any questions, let us know, and then
Topics,
you know, like I said, we have to kind of filter through them and see what we're allowed to speak on, because also these guys have sensitive jobs, so we can't like go too crazy with it, and then they have sensitive relationships.
We're just sensitive.
We're sensitive, man, bro.
So I want to appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and then this wraps up number 2.
It's a wrap. Later.
Later.
How long was that, bro?
I'm 4th.